It was 3:47 a.m. when she knocked on the window of my taxi. I was parked in front of that rundown motel on Michigan Street, waiting for some drunk to stumble out. When I saw her, heavy rain pouring down, a red neon sign flashing behind her, hair plastered to her face, old suitcase in her hand, eyes wide like someone who'd just seen a ghost. I unlocked the door. She threw the suitcase into the back seat, got in shaking, and said just one thing. "Drive, please, just drive." I didn't ask anything. I pulled out. The rain hammered the hood like shotgun pellets. She kept checking the rearview mirror every 5 seconds, gripping her purse strap like it might disappear, breathing short, nervous. "Where to?" I asked, looking at her through the mirror. "Anywhere, far from here." Silence. Just the sound of the wipers slicing through the night. I turned onto the main avenue, the yellow streetlights reflecting on the wet asphalt. The city was asleep, but she wasn't. "He's going to kill me." Her voice was a whisper, almost drowned out by the rain. I slowed down a bit, looked again in the mirror. She was crying, tears sliding down quietly, silently. "Who?" "My husband. He found out. I didn't ask what. I didn't need to." I saw the bruise on her wrist when she grabbed her phone, saw the way she shrunk into the seat like she wanted to vanish inside her own body. "Do you have anywhere to go? Family? A friend?" She shook her head. "I only have this." She pointed at the suitcase. "And an address, Detroit. My sister lives there." Detroit. 8 hours on the road. 8 hours crossing the night with a woman running from her own husband. "Listen," I said as I slowed at a red light. "I can take you to the bus station. You can catch a bus to Detroit. I'll help you buy the ticket and—" "He knows the bus station," she cut me off, eyes fixed on the window. "He knows everything. Every place I go, every person I talk to. He always knows." I stopped at the light. The whole city was asleep. Empty streets, just the two of us in the rain. I could drop her at the station. I could go back to my shift, pick up another fare, go home and sleep. But then I looked back at the mirror again, and I saw my sister. 10 years ago. Same red eyes, same fear stuck in her throat, same way of looking over her shoulder like the devil was coming. I took a deep breath. "Detroit it is." She broke down, covered her face with her hands and cried quietly, with her mouth covered, trying not to make a sound. I turned on the meter, pulled onto the highway, and prayed that 8 hours would be enough for her to breathe again. We left the city as the rain started to ease. I drove in silence for the first 40 minutes. She didn't say a word, just stared out the window, clutching her purse to her chest, breathing slowly. Every now and then she checked her phone and quickly locked the screen, as if she were afraid to even look at it. The highway was dark, empty. A few trucks passed in the opposite lane, headlights cutting through the mist. I kept my eyes on the white line and tried not to think about anything, but I couldn't, because I knew that kind of fear. "You don't have to tell me anything," I said softly, breaking the silence. "But if you want to talk, I'm here." She stayed quiet for a while. Then she exhaled, a long breath, like she'd been holding it for hours. "We got married 6 years ago," she began, her voice weak. "He was different at first, attentive, caring, or at least I thought he was. Then I realized it wasn't affection, it was control." She paused, wiped her face with her sleeve. "First it was my phone. He wanted to know who I talked to. Then it was my job. He said I didn't need to work, that he'd take care of me. Then it was my friends. He said they were a bad influence, that I only needed him." I tightened my grip on the steering wheel. I knew this story. I had heard it before. "And today?" I asked. "Today he found messages on my phone." She swallowed hard. "Messages from my sister. She sent me a bus ticket, begged me to leave, said she had a room for me, that I could start over." She inhaled sharply, trembling. "He saw it, and he exploded, threw me against the wall, said if I tried to leave, he'd find me and kill me." Heavy silence. "So I waited for him to fall asleep," she continued. "Grabbed the suitcase I hid under the bed 3 months ago, and ran." I looked at her through the rearview mirror. Her eyes shone faintly in the glow of the dashboard. "You did the right thing," I said. "I'm scared," she whispered. "Scared he'll wake up. Scared he'll come after me. scared he'll figure out where I went. He won't find you, I said firmly. Not tonight. She looked at me, nodded slowly. I drove faster, because I knew men like her husband don't give up easily, and I wasn't going to let her go back to that hell. Not again. It was almost 6 a.m. when I pulled into a gas station. Still dark, the sky just beginning to lighten in the distance. The station was old, half abandoned, only one pump working and a convenience store with a flickering fluorescent light. I'm gonna fill up, I said. Do you want anything? Coffee? Water? She shook her head, but I could tell she was hungry. She had that look of someone who hadn't eaten in hours. I'll get you a sandwich, I said. Don't argue. I got out of the taxi, filled the tank, and walked into the store. The clerk was a bored guy scrolling on his phone. I grabbed 2 coffees, 2 sandwiches, and a bottle of water. When I returned to the counter, I saw through the window. She was in the back seat, looking at her phone, and crying. I paid quickly and rushed back. What happened? I asked, opening the door. She showed me the screen. 17 missed calls, 23 messages, all from him. Where are you? I know you ran. You're going to regret this. I will find you. My blood went cold. He woke up, she said, her voice breaking. He's going to find me. He always finds me. No, I said firmly. He doesn't know where you are. You didn't answer. He can't track you. He knows my sister, she said desperately. He knows where she lives. He'll go there. He'll wait for me. I closed my eyes. Thought fast. Then we're not going straight there, I said. She looked at me, confused. We're doing this differently, I continued. You're going to the women's shelter in Detroit. I know one. My sister stayed there. They have security, restraining orders, lawyers. Your sister can visit you there, but he doesn't get in. She went silent, processing. You would do that? She asked, her voice almost fading. Take me there? I looked at her, saw my sister again, saw every woman I couldn't save. All the ones who didn't have a taxi in the middle of the night. All the ones who went back. Yes, I said. I will. She broke down again. But this time, it wasn't despair. It was relief. I handed her the coffee and the sandwich, got back behind the wheel, started the engine, and drove like I was saving her life. Because I was. We arrived in Detroit at 11:37 a.m. The sky was gray, but the rain had stopped. The city was slowly waking up, traffic beginning to move. I drove straight to the shelter, a discreet building downtown with cameras at the entrance and a security door. I parked in front. This is it, I said. She looked out the window, took a deep breath. For the first time in hours, I saw something different on her face. Hope. I don't know how to thank you, she said, her voice trembling. You don't have to, I replied. Just promise me one thing. She looked at me. Don't go back, I said. No matter what he says, no matter how many times he calls, you don't go back. She nodded, tears falling again. I promise. I got out, grabbed her suitcase, and walked her to the door. I rang the bell. A woman answered over the intercom, and I explained the situation. The door unlocked. He's not going to find you here, the woman said with a gentle smile. You're safe now. She stepped inside. But before crossing through the door, she turned to me. What's your name? Marcus, I said. Thank you, Marcus, she whispered. You saved me. I shook my head. You saved yourself, I said. I just drove. She smiled. A small smile, fragile, but real. And she went in. The door closed behind her. I stood there for a minute, looking at the building. Then I got back into the taxi, turned on the engine, and took a deep breath. I grabbed my phone, called my supervisor, told him I was taking the day off. He complained, but I hung up before he finished. Because there are things more important than a fare, more important than money. I drove slowly through the city, stopped at a cafe, had a hot espresso, stared out the window. I thought about my sister, about how many women are still trapped, about how many run and find no one. And I thought that maybe, sometimes, we end up in the right place at the right time. Sometimes, we're the taxi that saves someone in the dead of night. I went back to the car, started the engine, looked at the back seat, still carrying the mark of her weight, and kept going. Because the city doesn't stop. Night always returns. and there will always be someone knocking on the window, asking for help, and I'll be there, driving. I was 2 hours from home when my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. Hello? Silence on the other end. Heavy breathing. Marcus? It was her. Are you okay? I asked, instantly alert, pulling the taxi over to the shoulder. Yes, she said, and for the first time, I heard her voice without fear. I'm okay. I needed to call. I needed to tell you something. I waited. My sister came to get me, she continued. She showed up here crying. We hugged for like 20 minutes without saying a word, just crying. I heard her sniffle, wiping her nose. The women at the shelter helped me file for a restraining order. They said it'll be ready in 48 hours, and he can't come near me, or my sister. If he tries, he goes to jail. That's good, I said, feeling a weight lift from my chest. It's more than good, Marcus. It's the first time in 6 years that I can breathe without feeling like I'm going to die. Silence. A different kind of silence. Not heavy. Light. You know what the shelter's lawyer told me? She asked. What? That most women don't run. Because they have nowhere to go. Because they're scared. Because they think they deserve it. Or because when they finally decide to run, they don't find anyone willing to help. She paused. But I found you. I closed my eyes. Felt a knot in my throat. Marcus, you didn't just drive me to Detroit. You showed me there are still good people in the world. People who don't turn their backs. People who drive 8 hours with a stranger just because it's the right thing to do. I did what anyone would do, I said quietly. No, she said firmly. You did what most don't, and I'll never forget that. I heard voices in the background. Someone calling her. I have to go, she said. But I wanted to say thank you. Really. Thank you for saving me. Take care of yourself, I said. And don't forget, you don't go back. I'm not going back, she promised. Never again. The call ended. I sat there, holding the phone, staring at the empty road ahead. The sun was finally rising, breaking through the clouds, painting the sky orange and pink. I thought of my sister. She didn't have a taxi. She went back. 3 times. Until the 4th time, there was no return. But this woman did. She had a taxi. She had a chance. She had a door that opened. And she walked through it. I wiped my eyes, started the engine, and got back on the road. Because that's what we do. We drive, we show up, we don't turn our backs. Not when we're tired. Not when it doesn't make sense. Not when it would be easier to look away. We stay. We help. We save. One life at a time. One fare at a time. One night at a time.